have never tried it before. So I'm Katie. For those of you that may have never been to one of my cooking shows before, I love nothing more than cooking and baking for you and for others. I share with you recipes that I've never made before, and I will let you know the feedback of if they're great or if they're worth your time or if they're like amazing. I mean, we have found some really great recipes that are now a family favorite because I was willing to try them. So today we're going to start with an acorn squash. Have you ever used one of these, or have you just used it to decorate your front porch? This actually is edible, and it has packed with a lot of healthy vitamins in here. Squash is a really good substitute for a low carb option for a lot of things. Now today we're adding some sweeteners to it, so it's not going to really be low carb, but you definitely can make it low carb if you have that. Now I did cut this in half before with a very sharp knife. You always want to make sure you have a very sharp knife, and you're going to hold it directly or correctly the way that you can maneuver through your item. And this is one of my favorite knives. I absolutely love it, and so I always want to make sure that I have a tool that's going to get the job done. So now, how do you get the seeds out of that gorgeous squash, right? Well, I got this scoop loop that works phenomenal, and you can use this for many different kinds of squash or pumpkins. You can also use it to take the tops off of peppers or other things that have seeds and things in like that. So today we're going to take this end, and you're just going to go around the edges, and you're just going to twist as you do. And that's my oven reaching the temperature, and we're going to save these seeds. Do you ever roast your seeds? I mean, look how clean that came out. So we're going to do the other one as well, but we're going to roast these seeds because it says to garnish it with the end. So we want to make sure that we save those, but look how beautiful. I mean, I love that. It's a tool that you may not use often, but it gets the job done, and that is what I love. So now I'm going to turn these. I did wash these. Remember to always wash your produce because you never know who touched it. You never know where it was grown. It has a lot of dirt on that, believe me. So I'm going to actually cut the tops off. I don't want those stems on there, so I'm going to cut those off. And we're going to set that to the side. And now we're going to do wedges. We're going to see if we can make just nice little, and you want to make sure that you are in charge of the knife, right? It is a dangerous tool to have a sharp knife, but it is also a dangerous tool to have a dull knife. So there we have our beautiful moon-shaped wedges. And I'm going to line these on a cookie sheet that I have right here. Put this over here, and we're going to be able to roast these in the oven. Have you ever roasted, and I might use those later. Have you ever roasted veggies in the oven? If you have not, roasting veggies in the oven are like the best thing. Number one, you can throw all your things in, and it can cook all together at one time. And that's what I love. For busy moms, busy dads, busy people that have a busy life, you want to be able to do things quickly and efficient. And that's why I love roasting veggies. There we go. I'm going to maybe throw those in at the top. So anyway, so there we got our beautiful acorn squash. This pan is one of my favorites as well. It comes in a set that you can do multiple things. If somebody is a picky eater, somebody might be more of a keto style cooking or a diabetic, you don't have to add the sweetener, but you can still do the same dish, and you can add that to the other pan. So I got some butter back here. I'm going to start that because I had some that was frozen, and I want it to start melting while we do the rest of our goodies here. So now we have our squash, and let me zoom this in so you can see this. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar over the top of this. Now the recipe called for 2 of these Acorn Squash, and I only had 1. So I'm only doing 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, where the recipe called for 2 tablespoons. So you can easily make a recipe adapt to what you want. Next, we're going to take some pineapple, and again, I make my own. Whoops, I'm sorry, I forgot I have you zoomed in. This is crushed pineapple that I did. I drained it off, and we're just going to sprinkle this over the top of this pineapple. But this is going to add a sweet note to your not pineapple, to your squash. And again, I just grabbed a pineapple this morning. When you cut up your own pineapple at home with the right tools, you can definitely get a use out of the whole pineapple. And that's what I did with that. I take a whole pineapple, use my pineapple wedger, and if you don't have one, message me. I'll be able to help you get one. And then I also use this scoop loop to take the crushed pineapple off the sides. Well, it becomes crushed pineapple off the skin. There's, often that thick layer. You can take that off with this amazing tool and make your own crushed pineapple. I mean, no need to waste it. And you're going to be able to use it, freeze it, throw it in smoothies, or use it in a dish like this. Squeeze the excess liquid off, but that's what we got in our pan so far. So now we are going to make brown butter. Have you ever made brown butter? Oh my heavens, if you've never made brown butter, it is like a staple in our house. We put it on popcorn, we put it on noodles, on mashed potatoes, on lots of things. I even put it in frosting or cookies or things like that. So the way you can make brown butter is you're just going to put however much butter in your pan, and it can pop. So that's why I like to stir it, and you're going to just stir that till it becomes like a golden brown. I like to call it like a honey color or a maple syrup color. You don't want it black, obviously, so you've got to watch it very closely. You just want to get it nice and golden brown, and it draws out that nutty flavor in your dish. And so it's going to add so much to whatever you're adding it to. In frosting, it's amazing in frosting. I absolutely love it. So my husband wanted me to do an acorn squash, and I was so excited to find this recipe. And I thought, you know what? Why not? And we're going to, and you can see it's starting to foam and bubble, and that is a sign that it's starting to break down. That butter fat that was in there is starting to break down, and it's going to start getting little crystals on the bottom, but it's going to brown as it does that, and that's what we want, okay? So it looks like it's starting to get a light golden brown, and we're just going to stir this just a little bit. It doesn't take long, as you can tell, and I think I'm going to turn my burner off. And I'm going to put my hot pad over here, but it is a very light brown color. Now you can't quite see it in my pan. It kind of looks black in the pan, but it honestly is not. It is just like liquid gold is what I like to call it. It is amazing. And so now we're going to, let me look at my recipe here. The butter in the pan, remove from heat, and you're going to whisk or put the cinnamon and chili powder and pepper and pour it over the squash, okay? So we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons cinnamon, and it looks like this cinnamon is all gone. There we go. That cinnamon is all gone. Let me grab some more. Let me see. I just have my big thing of cinnamon. Oh, and it's a brand new bottle at that. I do a lot of baking and cooking, which is my favorite, and so I obviously, so I'm just going to do another half, cut for 1.5 teaspoons, so we got that. We'll put that to the side, and we'll take our chili powder, and we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder as well. I'm just going to sprinkle that right on the top of that. And 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I don't always measure my pepper, do you? I'm just going to kind of sprinkle and kind of guess, you know. There we go. And now we're going to just whisk this. And I'm actually just going to use a basting brush because I don't have a silicone whisk so that it won't ruin the bottom. Oh, this smells delicious. And look how beautiful that looks. I'm going to put this over here. Put my pan here. And I'm going to pull this down so you guys can see this. So just look at this brown butter goodness. We're going to pour this over the squash. And we're going to roast this in the oven. And you always want to scrape out all that deliciousness out of your pan. And I'm going to actually put that to the side and use my spatula. I love my heat-safe spatulas because I can literally take all that goodness right out of my pan without having to worry about my spatula melting. Look at that. Now that all that black stuff is some of the cinnamon that I just put in there. So there we go. Oh my! And it's gonna get a pomegranate. Have you ever cut a pomegranate? Well, hang on. I'm gonna show you. Let's get this in the oven. I had to turn the oven to 400 degrees, and now we're going to cover it with tin foil. We're gonna roast this in the oven 30 minutes, and then we're gonna uncover it and roast it some more for 30 minutes. Okay. There we go. Let me grab my timer and push 30 minutes on the clock. There we go. All right. So, have you ever cut up a pomegranate? It can be a little intimidating, trust me. I don't always get a pomegranate that I can cut up, but again, just use your sharp knife and go down through, and you can do it several different ways. You can get a dish. Let me grab a dish. You can get a dish and you can pound it with a spoon, and they should fall out. But the other way that you can also do it is tear it right where the creases are. You see that? And then that's where all the goodness, it just falls right out. This is a little tedious. It can be messy, so don't wear anything white when you're opening up a pomegranate. But it is definitely one of those things that I don't open very often. It does have a lot of good things in there for you. And so, let me see if it'll, there we go. A few more in there. So this is going to be for the garnish. We're going to garnish this over top of our dish once that comes out of the oven. That way we will be able to serve that. And again, it can be a side dish. You can serve it just like that with some meat if you want. Either way, it's a great way to get some extra veggies into your diet, or the kids, if they don't always like veggies like that, you can definitely make it more enticing and more colorful, and hopefully they will enjoy it. So there we go. There is our other 1/2 of our pomegranate. And so I hope that you're going to make this recipe. If you have not joined my email list, make sure you click on the side where it says join my email list. That way you get all these recipes that I try, and then you can try them as well. All right, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.